Is everybody ready? All right, Coach, we'll throw it to you for an opening statement.
All right, well, thanks for coming out again. And just to recap the Tulsa game, a disappointing loss to a very good team at Tulsa. Like I said before, I think our guys played with good effort, and we did some very good things. Right now we're making too many mistakes to beat a good football team. And we've played two good teams in a row in Troy and Tulsa. And Tulsa to me boiled down to really two things. On defense we gave up too many big plays. That right now the most troubling thing on defense is we're getting the ball thrown over our head way too much. And it's not only the plays they made, but other opportunities that Tulsa had to make big plays. And it started with the second drive. We had them 3rd and 7. We gave up a 40-yard seam ball. And then we gave up a wheel route for a touchdown, and then we gave up a long touchdown right before the half. And that's something that's really reared its ugly head 2 weeks in a row. The same thing happened at Troy. And I think the big thing on defense is that we've got to stop the big play. And our tackling was much improved, much better, again, against good skilled players. And then on offense, just the elimination of the turnovers. We threw 3 interceptions that were very costly, and a couple of those penalties took points off the board. And we really, between the big plays and the turnovers, took ourselves out of it going into the fourth quarter. And our guys battled hard in the fourth quarter and won the fourth quarter, but we were too far behind. And the challenge doesn't get any easier. A lot of teams will look at Marshall and say, geez, it's an 0-2 football team. Probably 90% of the football teams in the country, if they played Ohio State and West Virginia 2 weeks in a row, would probably be 0-2. So, this to me is a very good football team. They returned 13 starters, 41 letter winners. They're a very experienced team. They have a senior quarterback, Brian Anderson, that I think has raised his game to a whole nother level. He is clearly playing much better than he did a year ago. And I think they're letting him play and they're letting him make throws. They've got 2 very, very dangerous running backs in Ward and Booker. And both of these guys are guys that can make house calls. I mean, they can take a 4-yard play and make it a 40-yard play. And they've got good skill at receiver. They might have the best tight end we'll see all year in Lee Smith. And defensively, when we went back and broke down last season, we certainly thought that Marshall was one of the best 2 or 3 defenses we faced the whole year, and there's a lot of those guys back. And certainly Mario Harvey and Vinnie Curry are 2 of the most outstanding players we'll play against all season. So this is a very good team. And when the year started, we knew going into September that we had really 4 games that there's not one of these 4 games that we could just play an average football game and win. These are 4 games that in any one of them we're going to have to play well, and we're going to have to play extremely well this weekend to beat Marshall.
Coach, can you just talk about starting the season off on the road, how nice it'll be to play here in BG?
It's awesome. I mean, our guys are very excited to play at home. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd with our students and our fans, and just the ease. I mean, the first 2 trips were not easy trips. Those are our flights, night games. You get back at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's great to be at home. Everything's easier, and it's your home stadium and your home crowd. And in college football, it makes a big difference.
Can you talk about the thinking of not putting players' names on the back of the uniform?
I really, I think our football team last year accomplished, a great deal, and yet it seemed like all the focus was on a few individual players, and that wasn't by their fault. It's just the way it played out, and I thought it was very important that our team understand the importance of playing for the name in the front and the Falcon in the front, and not necessarily the name on the back. And I just want to develop a team that's extremely unselfish, that plays for one another, that plays for Bowling Green, and that was to emphasize the point that we're going to play for the emblem on the front and not the name on the back.
The fact that Marshall nearly beat West Virginia, I mean, how much does that heighten the awareness that this is a really, really good team?
I mean, we knew before the season started, we knew they'd be a good team. And when we went back and looked at last year's season and we broke down all the film, we thought Marshall was the 2nd or 3rd best team that we played all year last year. think clearly Boise was the best team that we played, and in our staff room there might be some debate, but a lot of people felt strongly that Marshall was the second most talented team we played. And as the year kind of wore on, they became a bowl team, and they beat Ohio in the bowl game. So we knew they were good last year. They're very stout. They did a better job defending us last year than anybody we played. They limited us, and we only scored 10 points against them, and we missed a couple of field goals. But they were a good team last year, and we knew when we played them they'd be good this year because they're going to have so many guys coming back.
You made a couple of changes on guys from moving offense to defense on the line, Russos and all that.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's funny. At the beginning of the season, all the questions were about replacing Freddie and replacing Tyler, and obviously those two were losses. But I think as a staff, our biggest concern was the players that we lost on the offensive line. I mean, we lost Scott Albert, we lost Brady Minturn, we lost Shane Steffi, and those were guys that had started. A lot of those guys between them probably had 70 or 80 starts, and in the classes behind them, there was a serious void of offensive linemen. I mean, we recruited 5 offensive linemen last year just because we had absolutely no depth in the program. And we moved Nick Tereso over in the spring, and now you lose Ben Boychuk. On top of that, we lost Scott Lewis in camp, and we're paper thin on that was the one position on offense that we really felt we had no depth and we couldn't afford to lose anybody, and we lost 2 of our starters. And I really appreciate Jordan Russos. Jordan Russos is playing between 30 and 40 snaps on defense for us, and just other than Dominic Flellen, we don't have another freshman right now that's physically ready to play. So to put them in there wouldn't be fair to them and wouldn't be fair to the rest of the team. Jordan Russos has played football for us. He's 280 pounds. He's physical. He's smart. And I brought it up to him and said, "Hey, Jordan, we're thin on the O-line," and Coach right away, he goes, "If it's best for the team, I'll do it." And things like that make you proud to be a coach. You do things like put the jerseys off the back so they play for what's in front, and then a guy lives it by willing to switch positions. And it's not like he's not playing. I mean, he's playing close to half the game on defense. And so we moved him over to offense, and I don't know if he's going to be ready this week, but in one practice yesterday, he already did some really good things, and he's going to help us there, and quite frankly, we need help there.
Coach, obviously, coming into the season, people had circled the Michigan game on the schedule. Do you even address the fact that you can't overlook this week, or how do you approach that?
Overlook this week? I mean, did you see the West Virginia Marshall game?
I also saw the Ohio. I also saw the Ohio State game where they get blown out, and I know going into the big house on national team.
Second best, right now number 2 in the country, and a lot of people feel have a chance to win a national championship, and won 6 straight Big Ten titles. I mean, West Virginia's a good program. They're a top 20 team, and really, if Marshall doesn't fumble the ball on the 4-yard line, they win that football game. So, media and people talk about playing Michigan. We haven't talked about it once to our team all year. We have not brought it up. We'll bring up Michigan on Sunday. Right now we're 0-2. We need to get a win, and we play this week at home, and that's our biggest game on the schedule right now is Marshall.
Coach, back to the offense.